Okay, people. Today we will talk about stupid people. And I'm not meaning the people that are stupid for, you know, the actual, like people that are have a mental challenge or something like that. I'm talking about the average regular day Joe or Susan or whatever you want to call them that a lot of the ways they think or what they say are just complete stupid. Um I'll give you some examples of people that I really can't stand because they're really stupid. And I usually get rid of stupid people. Okay. I get them out of my life as much as possible, especially when they're at a certain point. Example, there was this kid, Ed. Now, it did not matter what I said, the fact that I never lied to him. If there was something that he didn't already know, and it wasn't just me, he did this with everybody. Unless it was someone he deeply respected, if you told him something, he would literally disacknowledge it. Now, I kind of remember a conversation from him, and I remember we were talking about something. I can't remember what the topic was, but we were talking about something. And I think it was like a legality or something. And these were his exact words. He doesn't care where it's written. He didn't care if it was in a law book, if you could Google it, or what the excuse was, unless his professor at his college told him it was right, you were wrong instantly. Only certain people could tell him certain things. And if they did, then that was right. The law could be literally staring at him, in the law book, and he would downright deny it unless his professor said it was so. Or he wouldn't believe it. He'd have to check with his professor. Those are stupid people. Another one. There was a guy. I remember me and my roommate now. Um, we're sitting at in the car, and we're both watching this thing on TV a few years back, and we're like, "Oh my God, Trump just bombed Syria, just like Obama and everybody else did before." Which I'm completely against in case any of you know this, if anybody shows up on here. So, either way, we're watching it as he's doing this. And his roommate is literally telling him, "Oh, that would never happen. It would if it happened, he would know it." Well, the thing of it is later on he admitted it happened, but his excuse was if it isn't on Facebook, it didn't happen. It's not real if it didn't go on Facebook. That is a moment of pure stupidity for a lot of people, and that's the way he thinks too. Um, because in this particular case, it took like maybe a half hour after it was happening. Me and Nate were watching it on live news, and this guy was looking it up, and it was just getting put on Facebook. He was pretty stupid for that. Okay. So I hate people like that. I can't stand them. And then there's certain people who you will tell them something. You need to do something or whatever the situation is. Like maybe you need to go to welfare because you're down on your luck and welfare might help you. And you tell them that two or three times, and the month goes by. And because their mother tells them that, then the next day or Monday or whatever, they're instantly going to take you uh, to the welfare office. They didn't listen to you at all. And I hate people like that. I mean, when they do that, I have one but I deal with him because I've been dealing with him for a long time, and I forgive him to one extent. The rest of them I don't. I usually get rid of everybody else that is like that. So these are stupid people. And people like this seem to be the case in the United States, a good portion of our population. Um, a good portion of our population literally will do things like that. They'll only listen one point of view. They only listen to one source of news. Okay, let's say at one time before, the 2016 election, people would listen to CNN or Fox, and they generally went on the same banner wavelength, or, you know, one of the other local news stations, whatever you had at the time. And they got their information there. Now, people like me back then, before even Trump was even thought of being president, even in Obama's and way, way back, I used to listen to, and I still do, RT News, okay, which is Russia Today for those of you that don't know. I also listen to CNC World. By the way, that's Chinese news. I also listen to NHK. Now, for those of you who want to leave because of that, go be my guest. But I listen to alternatives, and I go all the way around the world. I mean, NHK is Japanese news. Okay, I also listen to the European DW. So I listen to a lot of international news and very little of our own news. Because here's the thing, folks: when our friends and our enemies agree on something, pretty much guaranteed we're lying through our teeth when it's about us, when they are all saying the same thing, okay? Then we're lying through our teeth. That's the best way to find out. Watch multiple sources to find out a bit of information. And then look at people that would normally agree with us if they say something about it, and people that absolutely hate us. And if they're all saying the same thing, it's pretty much true at that point, in my opinion. Because when your friends and enemies are saying, you did something wrong, you did something wrong. Now, not to go on that little bit of a tangent, but that's my point in a lot of this. There are a lot of different sides to the things that are going on in this country. And everybody's got a one track of mind on one thing. And the only thing you can actually count on that is 100% true is that the elites have committed crimes, serious crimes of treason and others. Whether you like Trump or not, every politician has committed treason and literally, technically, murder in multiple ways of our own troops. Okay, so if you're a parent of a soldier that went over in Afghanistan or Iraq and you lost your child, don't just blame ISIS and don't blame the Taliban. Yes, ISIS and the Taliban might have pulled the trigger, but you also want to go after the person who paid them to do that. And in our case, the United States government literally did that. They paid them to take the weapons. That is the same as putting a contract out on somebody, like, say, let's say the mafia, okay? The mob would put a contract out on somebody. You might have the hitman who you're pissed off at because he just killed somebody, but the mobster that ordered the contract goes down. Well, that's what our politicians did. They ordered a contract on our own troops. Why? So the 1% can get richer and stay in power. And the problem is people are not looking at it that way. They look at it over racial issues and all these other issues. We need to band together, everybody. And I'll call for the revolution. I don't care. Come get me. But yeah, there are a lot of stupid people. People need to smarten up, open up their minds, and actually realize there might be more to it than you really understand. All right. Spend 10 minutes on here of me rambling. Sailing Prepper, signing out.